Hey, what's up guys? Got another knife review for you. This one I'm very excited about. This is something that kind of surprised me. This is the CRKT Otanashi no Ken. Yes, this is basically a huge version of the Hisatsu. Has a larger blade, 4.52 inches. We have an AUS 8 stainless blade with a vague description of a coating. Basically, I think it's just a Teflon coating. But there's no specific materials mentioned by CRKT. That's okay. With lots of use, it's held up. There's little rub marks here and there, and there's schmutz on the blade. We got some schmutz over here, but it's copacetic. Everything's cool. It's not rubbing off or scratching off, so whatever it is, it's holding up just fine for now. I really have been impressed with this blade. There's a lot to offer here. There's a lot of things going on. It's very heavily Japanese influenced, obviously. You can see just by the blade. This blade style is known as an Osaraku Zukuri blade style, okay? Which basically is a later Japanese era Tanto, okay? What this refers to is it's a Tanto blade or Japanese style Tanto, okay? But the second or actual point before the secondary point, obviously you'd have your blade, it would be a straight edge, and then it would turn, your angle would change. But our first angle is a lot longer. It's usually half the length of the blade, if not more. In this case, we're looking at, I'm guesstimating about 60%. Here's our secondary point. And it's also curved, okay, as opposed to an Americanized Tanto, which is basically straight. We have a straight angle. Straight, there's no real belly, but the belly where it would be was totally straight, and then we have a completely different angle change, but that's also straight. This version is curved and it's very long. This really excels in penetration and slashing, okay? We have a long, slender belly with a very fine point, okay? So stabbing and slashing is very good with this knife. This knife was designed specifically for military and law enforcement to be a defensive blade, or in their case, offensive if need be. But it's really cool. I love the design of it. I was just a little bit hesitant with this knife because I'm not a warrior in the true sense of it. I just want a knife to use for everyday cutting chores, okay? An EDC blade. So how would a specifically, battle designed knife work for everyday tasks? Cutting cardboard. In my case, I cut a lot of plastic straps at work. So how is that going to perform with this? I'm always weary. I say weary, and I always will. There's one person that always corrects me and says wary. Whatever. It's weary to me. So I'm always weary or wary of very fine points because I'm always afraid they're going to snap off. But as I get older, I realize it is what it is. Don't baby them. Just use your knife as you normally would. If it snaps off, pick a different knife. It's not working for you, or you're not using it right. And this one's been fine. In fact, it's held on very nicely. Still has a very fine point on it, okay? And that is not being babied. I'm not purposely trying to break it. If you did the whole stab test in the wood and pried it out, yeah, I'm sure it would snap off or at least bend on you. Like I said, this is an AUS 8, so more likely it would bend before it would snap. But either way, it would not be a good situation. So be a little bit careful, a little conscious of that extra fine point. But of course, even for EDC tasks, when you're cutting into cardboard boxes, penetration is nothing. It takes no effort with a nice sharp, very pointy blade to poke into the box to get your cut started, and of course dragging it across. Playing around, I did slash a pork roast with this just to have a little bit of fun, and man, it ripped through it. I really regret not filming that. Just took a couple little slashes here. It was impromptu, but I wish I had the camera out because it cut through it like a hot knife through butter. All right, something else I want to mention. This design is very squared off. It's very simple. This is not by mistake. Some people may think this is not very ergonomic. I'd rather have our deep finger twirls, all the other crap that we like, maybe some other grooves, maybe a rounded butt so it kind of fits into the, palm swells, all that kind of crap. Yeah, that aids in ergonomics, but this knife is not designed to be extra comfortable. This knife has Japanese influences in it, okay, and samurai influences in it. And the reason they have these style handles on this is because they're a lot more versatile in moving the blade around in different grips, depending on what they want to do. All right, traditionally, they would be moving it around in their hand. They may go from this grip and kind of swing around into a reverse grip, all right? Who knows what they're doing with it? I'm not a samurai warrior, so I don't really know the specifics of it, but you will see in all the different, Japanese influenced knives, folders in this case, the fixed blade swords, everything from a Tanto to a Wakizashi to, a full-on samurai sword, they're going to be the same basic design, and that's why, because they're changing their grips constantly, and you can't deal with finger choils and curves. It does not aid in what they're using it for. So this is designed like this for a reason. Aesthetically, I can use without, these 3 slashes on here as well as on the back. I don't know why, I don't like them. It really means nothing. Aesthetically, I would have liked it without them, but it is what it is. It really means nothing for performance. But that's why these handles are so rectangular, okay? This is the style. This is very true to history. This knife was designed by James Williams, okay? And he's no newbie to martial arts and, samurai history. He's very well known for instructing, and teaching defensive blade tactics and fighting to military and law enforcement all around the world, and a very extensive martial arts background. Okay, also obviously designer of the Hisatsu, as well as a couple of the blades. But it's very cool. We got a G10 front scale, stainless steel frame or back scale here. It is a frame lock, okay? This thing locks up like nobody's business. All right, I mean, just a perfect lockup on this. The lock face and the lock bar they meet up beautifully. Out of the box, it was just like a bank vault, and it's still like that even after all this use. Now, it seems like overkill because I don't know offhand if this is the first one they did, but this is a frame lock with a locks system. Okay, that's a secondary lock that CRKT does, LAWKS. This one's also manual. I know some people don't like the auto locks, where as soon as it locks open, the spring initiates the secondary lock. This is not that. Okay, what I like about this knife is that it's manual. It's not speed assist. I tend to stay away from speed assist knives. I don't need them. I can flick my knives open just as fast. It's not really a problem. So I don't like when they're speed assist because it takes away the option of me slowly opening my knife if I choose to do so. Okay, with this one, it's designed to basically, if you want to open it nice and slowly and quietly, no one would ever know. Okay, if you are a Japanese warrior, which I'm not. But yeah, it seems like overkill with this, but I do like that it's a manual knife and it's also a manual lock system. What I do not like about this one, in particular this design, it's very difficult to actuate this, okay, to push this up. You can see it dips down by design. There's knurling on that little knob, but it's very hard to do. I have to use the very tip of my thumb to actuate that, okay? And naturally, when I just open the knife, from the pocket, I'm not thinking about it, my hand goes over, and most of the times it misses, okay? It slides right over. It's just, I think this has to be pushed up more or more aggressive jimping on it or something. I don't know what it is. It's not a huge deal, but I have to focus on doing that in order to actuate it, okay? If you haven't seen this before, basically you're pivoting this arm around our main pivot, and what it's doing is it's dropping this piece right here in the back. Okay, it's pivoting like a little seesaw, and it's pushing a bent piece of metal in the way of our lock, so it cannot unlock. All right, without it, it's already like a bank vault. With it, it's basically a fixed blade. I may do testing in the future trying to get this to fail. I don't want to ruin this knife because I really, really love this knife, but I'm telling you, I'd be really, really surprised if you can get this to fail, even with some harder abuse. Extremely, extremely nice lockup on this. But I didn't really mention it, G10 front scale, stainless steel back, real basic stuff. I'm not a huge fan of thumb discs. I just don't know why. They work fine. I'm just not a fan. I'd rather a thumb stud or a opening hole, but that's completely preference. It has no effect on this blade. The thumb disc or opening disc is totally functional on this knife. The name on the back here, as you can see, Otanashi no Ken, translates to the sword of silence or something very similar. The idea behind this being a Japanese samurai warrior, the sword of silence is the warrior who can take out their enemy without ever touching blades, okay? Basically, the element of surprise and or you're facing them, but you're so darn fast that they don't even have a chance to block your sword with their sword. You're in and out, and that's it. They're bleeding all over the place, and you never hear a thing. It's all about being secretive and silent and quick and covert. So that's the whole deal with the name. Pocket clip is awesome on this. This is a large knife. All right, I didn't give you specs yet. 10.13 inches overall, 4.52 inches on our blade, and the weight is 6.4 ounces, but it doesn't feel like it. It's still pretty slender, and it has a deep concealed carry clip, which I really, really like on this one. It's very, very smooth in and out. You see, basically the clip is over just flat stainless steel. There's no texturing under there. It's really, really nice to take in and out of the pocket. I mean, it's a dream. It feels super smooth, which I really like. And of course, deep conceal, so when it's in the pocket, all you see is literally just the pocket clip. There's a lanyard hole in here if you want to add a lanyard for, you know, an easier deployment, just to grab that. You don't have to worry about aiding in grip because you do have a huge handle on this knife. Okay. The pocket clip, as you see, it's mounted for tip-up carry right-hand side. You can swap this over to left-hand side if you wanted to. Keep in mind, if you're going to do that, you will have a little bit more of an aggressive contact point with the G10. Not a huge deal though, but out of the box, being a righty, this is perfect. It really, really carries well, and it really, really is awesome to take it out of the pocket, honestly. It just feels good. And you know how you guys kind of flick your knives open, or you open them and close them all day long? That's just all you do. You play with your knives. This is the first knife ever that I just took in and out of my pocket because it feels that good. It's that smooth. So it's just a total pleasure. Price on these, street price, or what you're expected to pay for it by dealers, is anywhere from $80 to $100. On the low side, I'm thinking Amazon. Amazon does have some offerings with this particular knife for the, about 80 bucks or so. Some of the regular knife dealers, you're looking at about 90, 95. You could pay, I mean, if you don't do your research, they sell for as much as like 140. 150 is full MSRP. But overall, I love it. I love the history with the design. I'm a huge fan of James Williams' designs. Everything that CRKT puts out by him, I'm just a huge fan. But if you like the Hisatsu, basically this is a larger version, but it's a manual knife with a manual lock system, and it's great. It's really, really good. I didn't think that this being specifically designed as a a battle blade, really. That's the whole purpose of it, is to get a larger folder that's easy to carry and very effective for defense/offense for our military and our law enforcement. I didn't know how that was going to handle up to EDC tasks, but it did wonderful. So I'm very surprised with it. Very, very happy. Some people are going to look at this at black and white. They're going to say, 90 bucks for AUS 8. I'm not going to do it. If that's how you look at knives, you're missing out, because this one is awesome. Sure, you can get a knife with better steel, but you're not going to get this design, and you're not going to get this package, and this has so much to offer. By the way, coming close, look at our hardware here. Obviously, the whole knife is blacked out. Again, going with the whole stealthy theme, and of course a military type theme. Everything is non-reflective. You don't want to cause attention, have a glare, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, our hardware, looking at some basic torques. And I like the pivot. Slightly larger head on our screw here, completely flush. I don't know, it just has a nice look to it. All right, and that's the same size head as our body screws. So that is pretty much it. That is the CRKT Otanashi No Ken, and I totally love this knife. I highly recommend this knife, even if you're not a Japanese samurai warrior in 2013, or if you're not law enforcement or military. If you're just an average dude who likes his knives, this is definitely one you need to get in your hands and try out. Huge, huge fan of this. So anyway, that's all. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. I thank you very much for watching, as always, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, guys.